Welcome back to Cleveland Stage Door. Today we're joined by the incredibly talented Will Burton, who is currently hunting the stage as Adam Matlin in Beetlejuice the musical. You may recognize Will from his standout roles on Broadway in Hello Dolly, Kiss Me Kate, and Holiday Inn, or when he first visited Cleveland with Beetlejuice in 2023. But before we jump in, some exciting news. Our friend Marcus Martin, who's currently the standby genie in Aladdin on Broadway, is returning to Northeast Ohio for a one night only performance at Weather Vane Playhouse on August 23rd, 2025. It is a special benefit concert supporting the theater, and tickets are on sale now at weathervaneplayhouse.com. Don't miss it. Now back to the netherworld. We caught up with Will during Beetlejuice's return to Playhouse Square to talk about life on tour, what it's like revisiting Cleveland, and what it takes to play one half of Broadway's most lovable dead couple. Let's jump in. Will, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Glad to talk to you, Jimmy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Will, so you play Adam in the show. What do you think is the most challenging part about playing Adam in the show?
Um, it's one of the bigger roles that I've ever played, and I've been playing it for a really long time now. And I think that I bring to this role kind of a physicality that hasn't happened with the role. I had a long career as a dancer, and so I use my body a lot. And so we do 8 shows a week, and we usually do a long weekend, and then we travel on Monday, and so we don't get a lot of rest. So the biggest challenge is just sustaining the energy to do 8 shows a week, and to continue to kind of bring the energy that I know that the show deserves and that my fellow actors deserve. And it's a high energy show. It was in Cleveland. I know you saw it. It was in Cleveland a couple of years ago. It's a high energy show, and we want to match the energy of the audience, which typically is very high because people are really excited to see Beetlejuice. The fans are some of the best fans I've ever encountered. So it's just meeting them at their energy level every single night, day in and day out. That's the most challenging part.
Absolutely. And Adam is such a beloved character in the movie. And bringing him to the stage, what approach did you take to bring him to the stage?
I rewatched the movie. I'm always careful not to reference the source material too much because I don't want to be influenced too much. I am not Alec Baldwin, and so I wanted to kind of bring myself to the character. I read the script over and over, and I just sort of dove in. But the stage version is slightly different than the musical in ways that I really like a lot. And one of those ways is the sort of like emotional arc of Adam and Barbara, played by Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis in the movie. I think is more fleshed out. We've got much more to do with Lydia and her journey and kind of grieving her mom, and they really set this plot line up in the show about me and Barbara wanting to have had a child. And so then Lydia comes into the picture, and we have this really beautiful kind of through line with her. And so I love kind of bringing that story to life every night. And I love the woman who plays Barbara, my wife Megan, is just incredible. So I always want to be there to support her as much as possible. So those are kind of the benchmarks that I'm aiming for.
And what do you love most about playing Adam?
I love his journey. The Maitlands have this incredible journey where they go from kind of neurotic homebodies to the top of Act Two. We've got this great number. It's called Barbara 2.0, but we sing Maitland's 2.0, where we sort of bust out of this rut that we've been in for most of our lives, or for our lives together. Yeah, we've just got this big moment of bravery, and I love playing it every night. We get this great song where we get to like come down stage center and we're in the spotlights and everything. So that's my favorite part of doing the show, is kind of like playing out that.
And do you have a favorite moment from the show, like either on stage or behind the scenes, that you look forward to every night?
There's so many. That's the Barbara 2.0 number at the top of Act Two is definitely my favorite to do. But we have so many great moments with Beetlejuice too. Justin, who plays Beetlejuice, is so good and so funny and so fun to play with every night. So there's a number during Act One that we get to really react off of him because the Maitlands are super square and he is, that complete opposite. So that is where the comedy ensues, is getting to kind of play off of him and his chaos.
So I have to ask, does he like improv a lot in the show, or like
Yeah, I
or
mean,
and how do you
Justin,
play off that?
yeah, Justin, it definitely, there was more like true improv early on in the show, and then some of those things just sort of stuck. So we've got things that came out of improv, but the show is not the same every night. Most of the lines are the same, but there's a lot of moving and grooving and sort of dipping, ducking, and diving. Depending on what Justin is throwing out at us, what we're feeling, and it's wild. It's wild that almost 3 years in, it still feels pretty fresh. And, Justin will still break me on stage. I'll just stand there giggling because I can't believe what he's just done or said or the way he said it. So there's definitely, if you saw it 2 years ago, it's going to feel different now than it did then.
I was just going to ask, like, that was literally my next follow up question. When is the one time that he's broken you like the most, like the
It's
hardest?
there's this moment in Act One where Barbara says to him, he's like, he's been trying to teach us how to scare the people out of our house. And we're bad at it because we're just super square and we can't get it. And we thought we were good. And he's basically saying we're so bad. And she says, well, what did you expect? We're not like you. And he gives her this look and I wish I could describe it. There's no way that I can describe it to make you understand, but what the way he reacts to it is different every night. And I will just stand there looking at it and I'll often just start giggling, and I don't want to giggle and I try to keep my crap together, but and then Megan will see me laughing and then she'll start laughing, and sometimes we'll get Justin in on it too. But yeah, he just he's got a way, man. I don't know how else to describe it.
It's incredible. Let's talk about your past real quickly. You talked about it earlier, where you came from a dance heavy past. Hello, Dolly, Kiss Me, Kate, Holiday Inn. How has your background in those classic dance heavy shows influenced your performance in Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I always kind of got my foot in the door dancing, and I understudied a lot. So I that was kind of how I got the reps doing roles. Yeah, the I bring a lot of physicality to the roles that I play. I like to think that my brand of comedy is very physical. I admire, the Steve Martins of the world and the Jim Carreys of the world. And so I think that kind of my awareness of my body and my sort of physicality, I can't help but to bring that into the roles that I play. And it's been such a blessing because it's this sort of like special edge that Will has when he's playing roles. I hate to talk about myself in the third person, but it's kind of that's one of the things that I'm proud of, is like just this ability to use my body and to have this bodily awareness that I think helps with kind of the physical comedy elements of this show and others.
That if you could play any other character in the world of Beetlejuice just for one night, other than Adam, who would you pick and why?
I mean, I am often watching Justin play Beetlejuice, just going, God, I want to take a swing at that. It's just such a, there's Adam and Barbara are so kind of hemmed down. They're tamped down by reality. We are sort of like the grounding characters in this show, which I love, but
But y'all are
also,
also hilarious. Like, you
well,
guys are
thank
one
you.
of the funniest parts of the show.
Well, thank you.
Like,
Thank you
it's
very
so
much.
funny.
But I think that has so much to do with like us kind of having to be grounded, and Beetlejuice getting to he just is unrestrained. And I love watching our understudies go on because it's you just get to bring yourself to it so much. It's like a blank slate for your own brand of comedy and your own kind of like perspective. And so, as cliche as it is to say, I would love to play Beetlejuice one day. Talk about physical, like you can be just totally off the wall playing that role. So I'd love to play
That
that role.
I love that. I think you would be great at that. That would be great. Um, so I saw that you had some TV credits like The Blacklist. And are there any plans for you in the future that you want to get back on the TV, or is the stage where your heart
Yeah,
is
yeah,
at?
no, absolutely. I would love to do more TV. It's not something like I got my degree in theater, so it's not something that I do a ton, but it's a really cool medium, and I had a lot of fun on the Blacklist, and I would love to do more of that. There's no plans other than just when I get back to New York City, just trying to get back into those auditions. But yeah, I love TV and film. I love movies.
Absolutely. Is there with you traveling across the country for the last 3 years, are there any cities that stuck out to you or that you want to revisit, or anything that you're excited while you're that you love to visit while you're in the city?
That's a tough question because in general, I found something to love about every city. That's such a cliche answer, but it's just so cool to see the different identities of these places. And there were, of course, a ton of really memorable cities. I had a great time in Cleveland. I have an uncle who lives there, and we were there for 3 weeks, so we really got to know the city a lot better than we get to know a lot of these cities. But I loved Denver. I loved Greenville. I loved San Francisco. I loved Chicago. Like the big ones, I love Philly. I love Boston. But we hit a bunch of little ones too that were really lovely. And it's actually really cool in the smaller towns because we bring this big show and all these people from the surrounding towns come and really show up for it.
Hmm.
And to know that theater is like alive and well in some of these smaller towns in the US really is like very heartening. So touring is just such a cool thing in that way. We get to see these big places. Like we've been to Chicago 3 times, and we stayed in Boston a couple weeks, and San Fran and LA. But then we go to these smaller cities and get to kind of like get down into what the U.S. has to offer. And yeah, it's a really special
That's
thing touring.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So last two questions. Second to the last is I saw Beetlejuice is heading back to New York on Broadway for a couple weeks. Is that going to be the end of the tour? Is that after that,
I
or
honestly have no idea. I wish I had more information about that, but I don't know what the plans are for Beetlejuice after that part of the run. So we'll see if it continues to tour or if it's all of a sudden licensed to regional houses and stuff. I'm not totally sure.
got it? And then my final question for you is that I ask this to every single person I talk to is if you could go back to your very first day of your career, what is one piece of advice you would tell yourself?
Man, I have a ton, but I think it would just be it's amazing to watch, to look back on different auditions and things that didn't work out that I thought were the perfect thing for me in that moment. And then to understand how my career zigged instead of zagged. And I ended up doing the exact right thing that I was supposed to
Mm,
be doing. And so to just trust that you just keep showing up and keep doing the best work that you can do, and the right work and people will find you, even when it feels like you screwed up that one audition that was like meant for you and was going to change your life. It wasn't meant for you because you didn't get it, and that you just have to trust that the right things are coming to you at the right times, because there were jobs that I thought that were perfect for me that I didn't get, and then they led to this, and this has been one of the biggest blessings that I've ever had. I mean, this job has changed my life in so many ways, and yeah, so just trust that if you keep showing up, the right things will happen.
I love that. That's such great advice. Great advice. Will, thank you so much. This was an awesome conversation. Beetlejuice will be back in Cleveland at KeyBank State Theater, a part of the Encore series, August 12th to the August 17th, just for a few days. Tickets are on sale now at playoffscore.org. Will, any other final comments to
Just
finish this up?
very excited to be back in Cleveland, and would love for everybody to come out and see the show, and I'm very appreciative for you having me on.
Yeah, this is great. Here's a special sneak peek of the show, thanks to our friends at Beetlejuice and Playoff Square. To wrap this up, I'll be at the show and I'll come say hello. Thank you so much, Will. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
See y'all.
It's showtime. Welcome to a show about death. I'm gonna need some help. Hi, I'll be your guide. I'll be your GUIDE to the other side. The whole big deadly.
Because I myself am strange and unusual.
Daylight come and they want to go. All we wanna do is hear that sound. All we wanna do is hear that sound. Fellas! All we wanna do is hear that sound. 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 That beautiful sound. That beautiful sound. That beautiful sound. That beautiful sound.
Shake, 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 Sonora.